Welcome to Bump in the Night Society presents Exploring Your Society. I'm your host, Sean Bowman.
I'm your co-host, Phil K.
Today we have Nate Odd, aka Nate Sahin, with us. Say what's up, Nate.
Hey guys, thanks for joining. This is my first time chatting with Bump in the Night, but I'm excited to talk about our experiences and answer any questions you may have.
Hell awesome. Yeah, man.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? What do you do?
Sure. So I always say I'm kind of a dark tourist turned digital creator. I started off in the pandemic doing mostly urban exploration. So what that is visiting abandoned sites, primarily around the Pittsburgh area. So, we're the Rust Belt and there's a lot of abandoned buildings around here. So just going to those places and taking cool photography, mostly on my phone, but I've used like a drone, a small drone, and I've used my GoPro. I started getting into. So that was kind of a step into the paranormal field where a lot of these abandoned locations that I wanted to go see were supposedly haunted and had a history of hauntings, or, the more elaborate places that are still open that have been restored, like the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, Moundsville Prison, Hillview Manor up in Newcastle. They all kind of put everything together for you. It's abandoned places and also the haunting. So that's really when I first started getting interested in the paranormal field and just kind of getting my feet wet there. So yeah, it's kind of everything that's creepy that you could think of around the Pittsburgh region.
Oh, that's awesome. How long have you been doing this for?
It's in July of this year. It was 2 years that I created my Nate Odd account on Instagram. And then I just recently, this past spring, started on TikTok. So it's been fun meeting the TikTok crowd as well.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, I know that you were just up for Best in Pittsburgh for your Instagram account, so you must be doing something right.
Thank you. Yeah, I was lucky to find a good following, and I kind of am in the horror realm as well, like horror movies. I'm a big fan, so kind of started following a lot of horror accounts as well. So that helps me get a following on Instagram as well.
Nice. Have you seen anything good recently, horror-wise?
We just went and saw Halloween Ends at the theater. So
how was that?
I know there's mixed reviews. I enjoyed it. Like I went with my partner JD and our two friends, and we laughed. Like there was parts where like it was funny and it was intentionally funny. And then we also gasped. Like there's big moments. I don't want to do any spoilers, but there's big moments that you're just like, holy fuck, like what just happened?
Nice.
So have you seen it yet?
I have not. I heard it's amazing. I heard it's like, but I'll check it out eventually too, because I'm a big Halloween fan, so that's awesome.
It's the #1 movie in America, so you gotta go support, like especially franchises and horror franchises that you're a fan of, I figure.
Oh, heck yeah,
me and Jen watched it. She watched it without me the first night. I was like, what the hell? So then she watched it again.
It seems like it's a really good year for horror films in general.
It was,
yeah, dude, it's nuts. Like, check out Barbarian. That's a really good one to check out too, man. With Bill
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
It was weird.
Smile was good. I like Smile.
Yeah, I didn't see that one yet. That looks sick. Who's your favorite horror movie character?
I would say it's a mix up between Jason and Freddy Krueger, and it's tough being a Freddy Krueger fan right now because there hasn't been a movie since 2010. And the 2010 remake.
My forearm.
Oh, you got Freddy on your forearm?
I have Freddy, Jason,
nice.
Myers, and Leatherface. Like on my arm.
Oh, that's sick, man. I can't believe it's already been over 10 years since the last Freddy movie. That's crazy.
I'm definitely a Freddy person out of everybody for sure.
Yeah.
There's been talks that they want, I think Jason Blum, who is the head of Blumhouse, he's going to try anything to get Robert back as Freddy, even though he's older now. Like they're going to try anything to get him back to reprise that role because it just didn't work without him when they did the remake.
Yeah, 100% agree.
I liked the remake. I don't know why.
Did you?
I did. I know people tease me about it. I don't know why I enjoyed it. I think because I like the actor, and I mean he was like Freddy, but he was also his own person. So I don't know. I dug it. The movie sucked in a certain aspect, but at the same time, I was like, you know what, this was cool. I know what I was getting myself into, and it was.
It definitely had a darker tone, I think.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, it didn't really have a lot of humor in it, and that's what Freddy's like known for is his humor.
Yep.
I didn't like New Nightmare either. I thought that movie sucked too.
Like the early '90s one.
Yeah, like the last one that like has to do with the actual movie. Like I didn't care for that one either.
Yeah, they said it was kind of like Wes Craven's precursor to Scream. Like if you watch it without in your mindset, like the phone calls that Heather gets, like the creepy voice, it's basically a precursor to Ghostface.
Okay.
So he kind of like leapt off of New Nightmare into Scream, which is interesting.
Huh. So I gotta watch New Nightmare again. Damn, I've only seen that like once and I can't remember any of it.
See, that's like the thing. I was so excited because like I got surround sound like that day. And then like I hooked it up and I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch new. Like I loved all the other Freddy movies. I put that on and it was like such a disappointment.
Oh man, that's crazy. Yeah, I tell you what though, that's why I love the horror genre. You know, they always say, oh, remakes are like they're terrible. Yeah, well, some of them are really good too. It's like you always want to see like a revamp of like something that came out like 10, 20, 30 years ago with the technology we have now, you know.
Yeah, I'm excited especially for Scream 5 to come out next year. Hopefully they do a good one.
About that.
Or I guess it'd be Scream 6 because this last one was the fifth one that came out last year. Did
you like the last one that came out?
I liked it. It was decent. I thought it was it paid like homage to the original, and of course it's nowadays, so it's going to be like more. I don't know. I like that they put like gay characters in it and like different stuff like that, kind of more reflective of today's time, which is nice to see.
Oh yeah. You know, it's really funny too. I felt so bad for David Arquette's character. I don't want to spoil anything for any viewers, and if actually watching right now, but holy crap, that scene, Lord! I think it was like one of the most brutal scenes of the whole film itself.
Yeah, like, why? It was pretty good.
Yeah, I think we saw it in theaters actually, Sean. Whenever I was dating my girlfriend at the time, yeah, we did see that.
That's when she tripped with her beer up the steps or whatever.
Oh no,
Nate, you got to listen to this. I was my ex-girlfriend Sarah. Whenever her and I were still dating, we decided to do a double date with Sean and Jen to go see the new Scream movie, and we're at the Phoenix Theater in Bridgeville, I think.
Okay.
Well, I'm just sitting down, so she goes up to get some beer, and then she comes back and. Everybody was like missing this one step, and she also
it's like something to do with that theater or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and she fell. The popcorn went, but she still held the beer in place for both of us. I'm like, and everyone was clapping and everything.
Save the beer.
Funny. Oh hell yeah, man! Yeah, that's when I knew that we had a good time together. But
yeah. When did you guys kind of all start the paranormal investigations?
Well, Phil was part of. I mean, Phil, you could tell your own story.
Yeah, no, you're good. I actually was involved with the paranormal about 8 years ago when me and my then girlfriend joined the Oakmont Paranormal Society in Oakmont, PA. Our buddy Drake Bowman, I don't know if you've ever met him before. Real nice guy. And because we ended up, I think we ended up messaging him on Facebook because we were looking for like local ghost people around. We were bored. We were like at some place to have lunch. We were just bored. So like, yeah, what the heck? We'll just search for some, locations. And we happened to come across his, and I think we messaged his team on Facebook, and then he replied back to us, and I was like, oh, cool. So we started talking with him, and he mentioned that they were going to have a training class at the Carnegie Homestead of in Munhall, PA. So we went there, and apparently Drake was like, yeah, you guys are in. So we just became members like very, very fast. And, it was about a year or so that we were doing some investigations, like maybe like once every like a month and a half or something like that, or what have you. And, we kind of like backed out of it just because, there's just too much going on, and then kind of just fell away from it. And of course, whenever me and Sean became friends, I wasn't as close to him as I am now. So I want to say about maybe 2.5, almost 3 years ago, I think Sean made like a post on Facebook of his team, Celestial Oddities, going to the Anchorage Mansion for an investigation. I made a comment on it, and I was like, I miss doing this stuff. He's like, well, you want to tag along and check us out and hang out? Okay. I'm like, oh yeah, I would love to. And then it was amazing. The interest kicked right back in again. And then, fast forward a few weeks later or a month later or something like that, he was like, hey, one of our old members ended up, kind of doing his own thing. He's, would you like to be fill in his spot? And I was like, absolutely. So that's how, it came about. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And me and Jen, we've been doing stuff, as just me and her back in the day, but as a group, me and my one buddy that I used to do music, I used to rap, and I know this guy from rapping too, and he put up a post like, I don't know, 4 years ago, or whatever the hell it was, about starting a team, and that's where the Celestial Oddities Paraseekers came about. And it was me, him, and 4 other people, I think, and then a couple people came and went, and then Bumping the Night Society became a thing 2020.
Was it 2020?
I
Yeah.
think it was 2020 or 21 or something like that. I forget.
Yeah.
And then we've added a couple members here and there, and been doing it ever since.
Yeah, I think we all had a little more free time in 2020, so a lot of these projects came about, especially around that time period.
Well, it's crazy because, like, I mean, you would think, because of the whole COVID thing, you wouldn't really be able to do anything, but we probably did more investigating in that year than we did any other year.
That's actually true. It's like, even though that thing, became like a stint in like society, we were like, well, fuck it, we're still gonna do shit. Why not?
Well, it also depended on like the state too, because I mean, like when we went to Bel Air House, that was 2020, but it was in Ohio.
Oh, I think you froze,
Sean.
Quick, let's talk shit on them. Damn, it's already pausing early. You can probably tell. There it is.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, the room I'm in has bad Wi-Fi. It does this shit like every week.
Nate and I were not saying anything weird. Just all right, Sean, backpedal what you were saying before. Before you.
Oh yeah, like I said, when we went to Bel Air in 2020, that was right at the height of COVID, because started like March, and I think our trip was in May, but it was pretty lenient there. Like they didn't really have any restrictions there.
Yeah, I don't even think we've had any like issues even during the whole thing from doing all this stuff. I mean, even with all the safety protocols, a lot of the people that we ended up meeting who were like, yeah, you can have a free room, whatever. It was simple. So.
Do you feel like things are starting to get more booked up now that a lot more things are open and people are getting out again?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, especially some of the more known locations, like some of them you have to book like a year in advance, if not long, more.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice. It's been a very busy year. I'll just say that much. And even with all the variants that came out, it's funny because like, speaking of the whole COVID thing, like Sean had COVID because he caught it from his wife, then I caught it from Sean. I've been making up all sorts of stories on how I caught it from him, just to kind of get,
Well, yeah, we went to Waldemere or whatever, and we were like in the car together, and
up in Erie.
Yeah. And the thing is too, is like, just being at an amusement park, I'm 41 years old, so I'm a little bit older, and like I felt all beat up from the roller coasters, and I thought, oh, it's just the roller coasters, like. But no, I think it was COVID is what was hitting me.
Yeah, and I took a damn drink from his cup of Coke, and then he tested positive on Sunday, and I was like, I might as well test, and then put the test on Monday. I was pregnant with the 2 lines. I was like, yes, it's cute.
It's crazy. Just from like one swig, you can catch it.
Yeah, it didn't really do much to it. Just had an intermittent cough, a little bit of a scratchy throat, and my the sinuses were a little clogged. But other than that, though, knock on wood, it was nothing. It's just depends.
I was the last one of my family to get it. Like I don't live with my family, but we get together for holidays and stuff, and
nice.
They all caught it. Like even like I think everyone worked from home, but like just from going out in public, and like I was very cautious and everything. And then once I got fully vaxxed up, of course I got it. So
isn't that weird too?
It was mild. Yeah, like you said, it just kind of felt like I had the flu for like a couple days, but rebounded quick from it.
I had the 2 shots, and then I had the booster too, and I still got it. But I also took Paxlovid, or I'm diabetic, so like I took that just in case. But I mean, that gave me like a bad taste. But other than that, like it wasn't. I was tired the one day, slept the one day, and then I was all right within a few days. So.
Yeah. Now, Nate, and obviously with the whole like COVID thing, was that tough? Like putting a damper on like your Dark Taurus stuff, or was it pretty much like nothing? You still did a lot of stuff even despite the whole thing.
Yeah, luckily it only lasted about a week for me, so I don't think I had any plans that week. I work a full-time job at home, so
Okay.
it's kind of like I mostly do things on the weekends, like either Friday night through like Sunday night. So I usually just post on the weekends, but if I have like a couple hours like after work or something where it's nice out, I'll try to get out to like a location if I can get some photography or do some exploring or something. But yeah, it didn't really affect me too much as far as that goes.
That's awesome. How many places have you been to? Can you count?
Oh geez.
That's a tough question, huh?
Yeah, my Instagram says 314 posts. So
Wow.
I try not to double up on stuff too much. But yeah, I don't know. Like I started off, let me see what my first thing was. I think it was the Gray Man's Tunnel that I
Never
saw
heard of
you
that
guys
one.
went to do one of your lives at a couple years
Yeah,
back.
actually, I
Which one
talked
was
to
it?
you about
Yeah.
a possible location to do that because we did it was a raffle or something. I think we had like 5,000 or something on Instagram.
Yeah.
So we did like
Did
a live
anyone
raffle
come
for
bother you
dinner.
guys? Like any patrolling
Um,
officers or anything?
No, not really. I mean, it was really cold. Like it was snowing and that, so we didn't really get bothered by anybody. And then we had my guy from Steel Gifted Sports. He did like the spun the wheel and hosted it and everything, and his brother filmed everything. So it was really cool. We were supposed to do a thing for TikTok when we hit 100,000, but I don't know what the hell happened. It just fell through. We never ended up doing a raffle or whatever. But
That's
hopefully-
huge. I can't believe you guys got that many followers. I mean, you have awesome content, but that's a huge number.
Nice.
That's amazing.
yeah, we're I think at like 158 now. But yeah, which actually because of that, we're speaking this weekend at Sleepy Hollow because they asked us.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So
And you guys
that's
were up
cool.
for best TikTok as well. I saw. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
You know, there's tough competition out there, especially with social media accounts. I had to face that as well.
Oh,
Well, it's
man.
funny because the one Pittsburgh Hills, which I love her stuff, but my brother like always sends me her stuff, and I was like, dude, like you better vote for me, and I'll vote for her. Which he claims he did, but
Yeah,
he
actually
would have been.
met
He
her-
was at one vote.
I met her at the Kecksburg UFO Festival this past
Oh, okay.
September or August, whenever that was. Her and her husband were there, and me and my partner JD went. So it was nice meeting them.
Yeah, I talked to her. I like emailed her a few weeks ago about coming on the podcast, so I'm supposed to probably have her on at some point.
Nice.
Have you guys gone out to Kecksburg?
No, I haven't. That's where is that in Pennsylvania or is that?
Yep. It's
Okay.
it's like southeast of Pittsburgh. Probably like it takes like an hour to get there from Pittsburgh.
Oh wow.
Maybe a little bit less.
Cool.
But
we haven't really done a whole bunch of cryptid stuff. I'm not opposed to it. We
Okay.
just haven't really done it. But
that one's really impressive to me because they actually had an episode. I think it was either the early 90s or 80s on Unsolved Mysteries. They did a whole episode. Well, it was like part of an episode that when they did like paranormal and basically, and I think it was 1956. I don't have my information with me, so I apologize if I get the dates wrong. But they saw this huge glowing fire come across Ohio over Pittsburgh. And then eventually it crashed in this small town of Kecksburg, just southeast of Pittsburgh. And apparently the locals went down to the location in the woods where it crashed. It was kind of like a ravine hollow. And they saw what was shaped kind of like a acorn. And it had weird writing on it. And it wasn't English. It was like, almost looked like Egyptian, but it was like no language that anyone had ever seen before.
they have like a statue for that or something, don't they?
Yep.
Okay.
So the Unsolved Mysteries actually made a recreation of what they saw for the town for the episode to film it, and then they just left it like in town. It's by the fire hall, so you can go see it. And they have this festival every year that kind of celebrates the event. But the people that went to see it, of course, they didn't have like cameras readily available back then and to take photos and stuff. And the police or the FBI or whoever it was moved in really quick, and they actually made everyone get back, and they hauled this thing out on a truck bed and they covered it up with a tarp so you couldn't see it when it was driving through town. So it's kind of cool. Like there's original eyewitnesses. Like there's a little boy that was up in his room, and he watched the truck bed go by, and he saw this thing on the truck bed like covered up. So it's interesting. People try to say it was like, I don't know, like an asteroid or something, but obviously they saw something in the woods, so it's still like an unsolved mystery.
That's really cool. Yeah, I'd like to check that out. Talking about that, I know you've been to like the Mothman thing and that. How was that?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Nice.
In September, the second week of September, Point Pleasant has a festival every year, and I'm sure the viewers know the backstory, but it was back, I believe, in the 60s out in the TNT area of Point Pleasant. So it's about a mile and a half outside of actual downtown Point Pleasant, but we went out there to look at it. There's like these old wartime bunkers, I think from World War II or one, not sure, but they used to store dynamite in these bunkers, and they essentially just left it there and they cleared out the dynamite. Some of them still have some stuff, but it was like radioactive for a while.
Okay.
So people would go out there just to hang out, like teenagers. And one of the theories is that some type of wildlife got into this radioactive stuff, and that's what they were seeing, like this big creature, or it could be something from outer space, like a UFO or an alien rather. They're not quite sure, but the people got chased by this large humanoid creature. It was black with wings, had red glowing eyes, and they chased some of them in their cars. And then the people kind of had this sense of dread after the event for a couple weeks. And then the following year is when the Silver Bridge collapse happened. So that's all in the movie Mothman Prophecies with Richard Gere. But they actually have the Mothman Museum. It's the only one in the world, and they have props from the movie, which is really cool to see. They have like the actual sketches that they used in the movie, like those creepy Mothman sketches hanging up. And they have like the police uniform the policeman wore, and the Men in Black uniforms and stuff like that. So they do that festival, and then they actually have the big Mothman statue in town. And he's kind of famous because he's silver, but then if you look at the backside, he's got some nice butt cheeks. So people go up and take pictures with the butt, and they grab Mothman's butt. So
yeah, I think that was going on right around the time we went to Lake Shawnee, because I remember saying something to Jen like we should have stopped there on the way back.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's actually,
like, you can't even like really walk down the street, and like you like have to wait to go in any restaurant. It's probably one of the larger cryptid festivals I've ever seen.
That's crazy.
Well, we got a video here from Nate. Let's check it out.
Ooh, yeah.
In November of 1966, a large, winged, dark humanoid with glowing red eyes was spotted near the sleepy town of Point Pleasant, West Virginia. The residents' lives would be forever changed. The eyewitnesses notified the local police, with all of them describing the same creature, even when questioned separately. Men in black suits visited the witnesses, telling them not to talk about what they had seen. But it was too late, as the local press had picked up the story and Mothman fever had spread across the region. The residents of Point Pleasant reported strange mental side effects and a foreboding sense of doom and dread, until December 1967, when the Silver Bridge collapsed, killing 46 people due to a faulty design. Some say the Mothman was spotted hovering near the bridge on that fateful day. Today you can visit the Mothman Festival in September in Point Pleasant and visit the world's only Mothman Museum. The famous Mothman statue is a must-see. And you can also visit the TNT area where the Mothman was first spotted. This is now a wildlife reserve, including abandoned wartime bunkers that still remain. We even heard a high-pitched screech out here. Was it excited festival goers, or was it the Mothman? You decide.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
I love your content, by the way. I'm not just saying that because you're on. Like, I seriously do.
Thank you.
Wow,
Yeah, I'm still trying to learn how to get creative with TikTok, but that was one of my TikTok videos that I posted. There was like, when you go out, especially on festival days, like if you go now, like you probably won't see a lot of people at the TNT area, but there's people like walking out there, and we parked, and you walk down this long stretch. It's like by a lake and pretty much nothing. And then every couple hundred yards, there's a bunker on your right, and you just kind of walk to the bunker. But when we first got there, we kind of heard like this loud screech. It almost sounded like a really big bat.
Ooh.
So I don't know like how a human would reproduce that, or like I had no self-service. I wanted to scare someone and bring up YouTube like a screeching thing and play it. But I had no self-service. So
That'd
if
be
someone
great.
was faking it, they could have, but it would have been hard. So who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe Mothman is still lingering there.
Oh man.
Well, don't they say like if you see any like an omen or something too? Like he's been seen like other places too.
Yeah, they said he's actually been seen most recently near Chicago, which is strange. I don't know if any big disasters have happened in Chicago, but yeah, he's supposed to be kind of like a warning. Like they saw him before the Silver Bridge collapse, which in that video you heard a lot of people died. It was one of the worst bridge collapse fatalities in the history of the country. So they think he's kind of like a warning that something's coming.
Oh gosh. Thank God.
So
I
if you
haven't
see
seen it right here.
Mothman, run back to your house and get safe.
Ah, shit. Well, thanks a lot, guys. That's cool though. In the movie too, like that had you said I think it was like Richard Gere that you mentioned.
Yep.
It was a good film. I liked it. It was creepy.
Yeah,
You know?
it's a good watch, especially like it's about a 4.5-hour drive down to Point Pleasant from Pittsburgh. So it's good to put on your phone and watch if you're a passenger. Kind of sets
Yeah.
the atmosphere.
That's crazy because I never knew that was an actual like real thing,
Mhm.
until like it's really really cool. And I can't remember that movie that much. Did they actually show the actual Mothman in the film, or was this like drawings and stuff? I can't
I
remember.
think it's just like really bad, like CGI. Like
Ah.
you see like the red eyes, but nothing like I don't think you see the full figure of him. It's kind
Yeah.
of just like hints at it. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that, but I don't remember it at all.
Yeah, it was. I think it was the only actual like horror film that Richard Gere actually did in his career,
Mhm.
if I'm not mistaken. And it's like you can do more because you're really good at it.
Right.
Oh, that's crazy.
So I know we met you at West Virginia State Penitentiary before for a convention. Have you ever actually done the prison at all, or?
Yeah, we did a historical tour in 2020. That was one of my first posts as well. But we just had we had a cool tour guide. I forget her name. She was a little bit of an older lady, but she was really into the paranormal because we had mentioned that we were interested in like the ghost sightings and things like that. So she kind of really got into that for us, which was cool. But we just did like the hour or 2 hour historical tour, and she walked us around, and we saw Red's cell. I think you guys went in there where he was supposed to get shanked. He got shanked in the side and died in his cell. And then she showed us like where the hanging gallows were, and of course old Sparky, the electric chair that they used, and that's still there. So I would love to do an overnight investigation. I think they allow groups in there. Have you guys done that?
Yeah, we did. We did a private one there, and I've been on public stuff there before too, which I think we actually had more activity on the public, at least for me personally, than I did on the private. Like on the private, I don't really remember anything happening. I know a couple of people in our group, like up in the infirmary, I think Jen and some of the girls had some stuff happen, but me personally, nothing really happened.
It was a very cold night too. I think whenever we went, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, I can't. That was so long ago.
But talking about the whole red cell thing,
Mhm.
I think the girls had something in there too, a couple of responses. And the funny thing is I went there, I don't know, 5 years ago or so, I'd say. And I went on Halloween, and it was like, I think like me and my brother and my daughter or something. And we were actually with one of Red's relatives. Like
Oh, wow.
supposedly she was related to Red. So it was kind of cool.
That's crazy.
Did you see? Are you guys fans of Destination Fear?
Yeah, good stuff.
That's one of my ones that I'll actually watch. Like I don't think they exaggerate too much. But I think Dakota, the main guy, got like scratch marks down his back in Red Cell there.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
crazy. Oh man. Speaking of Destination Fear, what other paranormal shows do you like watching?
Destination Fears, the main one, Ghost Hunters, I like because they come to Pennsylvania a lot. Like I watched the episode at Hotel Conneaut that they did.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Oh, that one's so good. You have to watch that. And then they also,
Nice.
I think this past season, they came to what's the restaurant that why can't I think of it right now?
Oh, over in the Strip District or whatever, right?
Church Brew Works, I think.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
Church
that was
Brew Works.
good.
They were just there. Have you seen that episode?
It was
I've seen it,
fantastic.
yeah.
It was awesome. Good.
I didn't realize how big that place is either, too, with the school and all that.
Mhm.
So of course, after seeing that, I was like, JD, we have to go get dinner there. So we went to get dinner there on a Sunday night, and luckily it was pretty empty, so I kind of just got to walk around and do a TikTok with my phone and stuff. But that's another place, if they ever open for investigations, I think would be cool.
Oh yeah, the place is really good too. The food's delicious, and they have some really good beer too, man. It's
Troy
just like
just said, that's Troy that said, hey,
Is that
guys,
Troy?
in there. Yeah.
Troy. Troy's awesome.
But actually, when last time we were at Church Brew Works, it was me, you, and Troy, because we ate dinner down there, and then we went to see that Alice in Wonderland pop-up thing. Remember?
Yeah. That was
Which their French onion soup's really good down at Church Brew Works.
Yeah, I don't think I had their French onion, but yeah, that Alice in Wonderland thing was really, really cool. That was like a last minute type thing, but that was interesting.
The cocktail one or like the scavenger hunt?
The scavenger hunt.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't get to do that.
they gave you like there was cocktails though involved too, but like you had to do like little puzzles and stuff, and you had to make some what was it, like an espresso? You had to make a little shape in the espresso, and then you had to find stuff, and there might even been a little like snack or something. I forget what it was, little things, but it was cool.
I was so bad at it. I let everybody else take care of the hard stuff. I was just there to drink.
Well, the group I was in, I didn't even really like know the people with me. Like you guys knew them, but I didn't know them.
Yeah. I think like our buddy Eric and his girlfriend Heather were there, and we were that table. We were that table. Like we were the most like loudest, most like yeah. That was a really fun time too, man. I think everybody Noah works there too, or at least he used to.
He was he was one of the actors down there, wasn't he? When we were down there?
Yeah, he wasn't working that day though, which sucked, but no, that was pretty cool. But yeah, we should totally do a investigation at Church Brew Works or whatever the heck you call it.
That's the thing though. A lot of those places are hard to get into. That's like
Stinks.
We did Tin Lizzy, which is a restaurant out in Latrobe.
Oh, that was
the
fun.
restaurant. It was open the whole time. So like
That was it.
Yeah, the thing is, we were there too till probably like 5 a.m, but there was still like employees still there. And the way that place is set up, like there's a bar in the basement, bar on the first floor, and then the restaurant's like on the second floor, and then there's a third floor, like where the apartment is. So we went earlier in the night, ate dinner. It was actually about a year ago because that just showed up on our feed or whatever recently. But we ate dinner. Phil was getting hit on by these old ladies.
For the record, the waitress, she was the one I kept eyeing on.
Yeah, that's just the one you were trying to go in, but these old ladies are all about Phil. The funny thing is, too, is like they're rubbing his head in that, and like their husbands were there, and the husbands were getting mad.
It was fun. It's like, I'm sorry.
But after we ate, we went to what is that battlefield that we went to, Phil?
Oh, was it Bushy Run?
Yeah, Bushy Run. We went
Run.
down to Bushy Run because we were filming like an intro for our videos. We did that, then went back to the restaurant because it was later at night. And we thought there wouldn't be much people, but no, everybody was still there, a bunch of drunks and everything. And I mean, it still wasn't terrible though, but like it was just so noisy. And like the people were real cool, like the employees were real cool. Like we were interviewing the bartenders, stuff like that. They actually brought us into the basement and walked us behind the bar. Everybody's like staring at us, like, "What the fuck are these people doing down here?"
It was interesting,
but we had some cool shit happen in the bathroom. Like, like I was doing some channeling in the bathroom, and like my voice like changed, and I was like real loud. Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, it got like real low, and like it was very like short answers, so we had to go down and like kind of like break him out of it, and he kind of had to walk in the back behind this curtain and like take a drink of pop though because he was wiped out. I've never seen Sean like that before. It was nuts. I mean, that stuff takes a lot out of you. I mean,
that's where the more you do
think,
it too, like the more you get like in tune with it.
Do you think when that happens, like a spirit's able to kind of temporarily possess you? I don't know the better word.
I kind of think that's what was going on at that time. I've done it before, and I don't think, but we've had other shit happen. Like I was doing channeling at Loveland, and we actually had like poltergeist stuff happen. Like one of our cameras got like knocked over and everything, and that was during a channeling session when I was doing it too. But I don't think I was like, I don't even know. I wouldn't call it possession either. I don't know what the hell I wasn't being like controlled, I guess. I don't know what the hell you'd want to say. but the thing is the
vessel to speak.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, just like kind of like how you would, see like I'm not saying I'm a medium or anything like that, but like I guess how you'd see something like that if somebody did a seance and they kind of speak through them. Something similar to that, yeah.
Okay.
That was crazy. Yeah, tell them about the whole Loveland experience. That was really cool, man.
Yeah, when we were at Loveland, I was doing a channeling. It's Estes method, or I just call it channeling because it's easier. But because I mean everybody knows what channeling is basically. But I was doing a channeling session, and usually the way we do it is like I'd be in a room, and they would be somewhere either not in the building or far off or whatever. But we were in a castle, so we use a baby monitor, and the reception's not that great. So there were only 2 rooms over me because stone walls and that. So they were asking questions, and I guess I was giving relevant answers. I mean, it's all on video. And one of the things that Mikey says, and it was shown on Paranormal Warehouse, like we sent the clip in and they showed it on there, which is really cool. But Mikey was like, yeah, for something in the room with Sean, can you knock one of our cameras over? And this is the time we had a cameraman at the time too. So we had 3 different cameras in there. One was the monitor, one was like a $50 camera or something. And we had $1,000 like video camera. That was the camera guy's camera. And he's like, yeah, don't knock the $1,000 camera over. So after they asked that, and like, obviously I didn't hear what they asked me. From my perspective, like I have a blindfold on, I have earphones on. I can't see or hear anything in the room. I could hear something in the room, like get knocked over or something get kicked, like slammed. I didn't know what the fuck it was. So like you see in the video, like I take my headphones off, I take my blindfold, I'm looking around like what the hell's going on, and they come out of the other room like holy shit, like they're like something just knocked over the fucking camera, and like we have 2 different angles from it, so you could see the camera like fall over, and you can see I'm across the room over here, like I'm nowhere near the camera, so it wasn't me like kicking the camera,
That was crazy.
That
was probably one of the best. It was nuts. And we had a lot of shit that happened there, man. Like a lot of stuff. I mean, even like the setup of trying to even go there was a pain. Like whenever we got there, we thought it was literally going to be like a complete like nightmare trying to get in. But thankfully, the guy that Sean wasn't dealing with wasn't there. It was another guy, and
Well, I didn't really have an issue to begin with. It was I saw a bunch of reviews, and the guy wasn't really responding to me, and a lot of the reviews were saying that they would always double book people, and then they'd get screwed up. And like we drove like 4.5 hours or something to get to this place. And like, I told Jen, like, as soon as we get there, because it was this old guy that was there, I was like, you got to go talk to him. Cause like, if he gives me any shit, I'm going to blow up on him, So she went and talked to him. She was super cool. He was super cool. Nothing but positive things. Like everything was cool. It's just, I think it was a bad seed that was the one doing this shit originally,
And when it's like when it's noisy and busy like that, that's probably even harder to get paranormal activity, because you're trying to get EVPs and recordings and stuff like that, and you have to always count out like other people talking and noises like that.
Oh yeah, for sure. For like at Tin Lizzy, yeah. I mean, Loveland wasn't like that. We had that privately, but Troy's actually talking about something here too.
Oh yeah,
because we did the Estes. Me and Mikey did it, which I don't know if you know what Pickle Jar Antiques is. It's in Rochester.
No, I haven't been there.
You can't go there now, burned down, which is fucking because like I was a paranormal consultant for this movie called The Carver House. It's coming out. It's a horror movie. And they filmed part of the movie there. They filmed part of the movie there. So like back then me and Phil went and like hung out with the cast, and I actually shot a couple extra scenes. But they were like, you guys ever want to come back and like, check out the place? Because I think they had Beaver County Paranormal or something's been out there before. They're like, yeah, you guys can come out. So we went out, me, Phil, Troy, and Mikey, just the guys. And there was a bunch of employees there too, and they went around with us, which was really cool. We had a lot of cool shit actually happen there. But what Troy's talking about is me and Mikey did the channeling upstairs in this one room, which supposedly we think it was a brothel. One thing there was a speakeasy, which is a known fact that used to be in this place, but we also think it was a brothel because there's a false wall that you had to like open up to go into, and there was numbers above all the rooms. There was all these bedrooms, so that's why we're pretty sure it was a brothel. Supposedly there used to be like gambling and stuff used to go on there too. But anyway, so we go back in this one room that seems off. And we do channeling. I did one, Mikey did one, and the weird thing is both of us, everybody else is downstairs like on the second floor. We were up there by ourselves separately. So the first time I do it, and I'm pretty sure this is on live too, I kept hearing somebody walking around, And I thought it was like one of the employees or something, because I know it wouldn't be one of my teammates, but I was like, maybe it's one of the employees. I kept hearing this walking around. I didn't really say anything. I went downstairs. Mikey went upstairs. Mikey's doing his thing, and he heard the same shit. And I was like, I didn't say anything because I thought it was an employee, but I kept hearing somebody walking around me too. It sounded like somebody was in the room with me. So like that was really weird. That was something that happened to Pickle Jar. A couple other things. We did table tipping. You know what table tipping is?
Yeah.
It's kind of like there's different ways to do it. The way we did it is like we had a light table and you put you can't see my hands. You put like your hands on under the table. There was 4 of us and you kind of just lightly balance it. And you speak to the spirits and they tell you like, something's here, pull it this way, turn it that way, stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it translated on camera as well, but I mean, Phil, you saw it in person. Like it looked like the table was moving. It felt like the table was moving because I was one of the people holding it.
Yeah, I really was. You had to really like focus on it big time, and I can even see like just little bit by little bit, like all the commands were pretty much like on par. It was weird.
We also have a psychic who's usually on the podcast. I don't know why she's not here tonight. Usually she's commenting on stuff.
Yeah.
She's from the UK and she does a lot of stuff with us. And she was asking questions and stuff too. And we were getting like a lot of intelligent responses. And one of the other things that happened to Pickle Jar too, which Phil, you were there, so you could tell him that story. One in the basement.
Yeah, basically, like in the basement, it was myself, Mikey, and this girl named Georgia, who was one of the workers there, and we were doing a spirit box session, and Mikey loves that, and he was asking questions, and I had my camcorder focused on him. I was sitting down on like a chair, and Georgia was to the left of me, and I forget which question that Mikey asked, but all of a sudden you hear a loud bang, and then he yells, "Holy shit!" And I ended up turning my camcorder over to where Georgia was. She was on the ground in the fetal position, something that apparently pulled her. Yeah. And then, we went to go check up on her. And, I was freaked out for that moment. And, but then, like, once she, got up and collected herself, the other guy that also worked there, I saw him, like, maybe like 10 feet behind her, facing the other way with his hands being up behind his back, just kind of like looking up. Kind of like looking towards the corner of like a part of the actual room, but just that whole thing that happened, like, dude, it was nuts, man. I had a moment like, we got to get the F out of here. But then of course, you come back to reality. It's like, no, this is why we're here. It was freaky, man. It just, I think because it was so dark. And then the reaction that Mikey had, and then the reaction that I had was what really caused me to like be like, oh my God, somebody actually got like physically assaulted.
Well, it's crazy because like between filming that movie there and then getting to know some of the people that work there, like I forget who somebody messaged me about it, and like it was a like inferno, like the whole place went up. And it was an antique shop, well, more like a consignment type. I don't know, like more like a junk store. It wasn't really antiques, but it was like tons and tons and tons of shit. Definitely a fire hazard.
It was really cool looking too, man. It was really cool.
But the thing, there's a couple of weird connections about that place too. Like I said, I used to do music. I used to rap, and it used to be the Blue Violet Cafe. So I actually rapped there back in the day. And then Troy does like plays and stuff and drag shows and stuff like that. And he did a show there. So it's kind of weird. We didn't know that we both had performed there before, but like it's kind of like a weird connection that we had,
Yeah. Did they say like, was it just an accident, or they think it was arson, or what happened?
They think the one guy was living in the place. And according to what I heard, he was smoking a cigarette, and I guess the cigarette caught something on fire. As far as I know, I think everybody's all right. I don't think anybody got injured or anything. So that's good.
Just the fact that like a cigarette, if that's what caused that entire thing to just is insane, because that place is big. It's not small. I mean, there is a lot of shit in there. Like, I mean, I would say if you ever get a chance to go there now, but before this whole thing happened, man, like there's like pathways to walk and everything because there's so much junk. I mean, but it's really cool whenever you walk in, you're like, wow, this place is like really congested, but this is neat. It was like going into like an art gallery with a very, disastrous art gallery kind of thing. I miss it now. I mean, we were there a couple of times, and it's not like the ones that you see on like, TV that, you have a problem, you need to get help. You're like, okay, I want to go here. This is awesome, man.
Well, the one cool thing is that movie's actually supposed to be coming out pretty soon, so you can get to see some of the stuff it's actually in the.
You get to see Sean in his glory, man.
I'm actually doing a song for their soundtrack too.
Oh, nice. Is it going to be like on Amazon?
I think it's on Amazon. I have to find out. I know he's releasing it in the theater. I think at the Hollywood.
Oh, nice.
But then I think it's Amazon Prime too. But I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
Somebody who
Oh,
that's probably Mikey, because other people can comment that are part of the team is bumping them. That wasn't me that said that. I'm guessing that's Mikey.
Sean's talking in the third person. So.
Yeah. Because there was this. It was really, like I said, the place was really weird in general.
Yeah.
But down in the basement, they have this door, and it was like, yeah, it is Mikey. He just said yes, sir. But it was all this dirt like piled up next to the door. We couldn't get it open. You couldn't see what was in there, and I don't know what the hell it was, but it was just weird in general.
That's creepy.
The Speakeasy too. Like when we were up in the Speakeasy, me and Troy were up there, and we had our friend Karma, the psychic. She was on like talking to us live, and we had a little bit of like REM pod stuff and that happened up there too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was even a situation too.
Go ahead.
Where, like, no, you're good. No, there was a situation too whenever they were doing the channeling session. Well, specifically Mikey, that Troy was actually getting. Philly cheese getting scared. I was a little freaked out. I'm not gonna lie. But there was a situation like me and Troy. And I don't even know if Sean was in the same room, but I was kind of recording the channeling session that Mikey was doing, and he was spitting out some really graphic stuff that Troy was actually getting emotional from it too, and he actually had to walk away. He said he was about to, I was like, dude, if you need to take a
break, like I said, it supposedly was a brothel, and a
Yeah.
lot of it was a lot of sexual like shit that was being said, and it was made Troy uncomfortable for sure.
Yeah, it was intense, man. That's why I suck at doing EST's method. I'm not good at it because my hearing is not as I hear things I shouldn't.
Yeah, so here's what Troy.
Oh, he got dark with the channeling rate. Yeah, it was pretty fucked up.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of brothels, what do you guys think of? This is a place I've been. I don't know if it's the official name, Winber Hotel.
I've heard of that place actually.
Yeah, you're talking about Grand Midway.
Grand Midway, yes.
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah,
we've all been there. Yeah,
love that place. Love it.
That's where me and my boyfriend kind of both had experiences for the first time. We were just doing one of the normal hotel tours, like not even a paranormal investigation.
So you met Blair? Blair's awesome.
Yes. Is that the owner?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So he's taking us around, and I think it was the canopy room, the one that's like people can't stay the night in. That's supposed to be really bad. I believe he was telling us about how it was the hotel was a brothel before, and I guess that was one of the ladies' rooms that she would stay in. And whenever he was going over this, I felt something faintly touch my shoulder, and we were standing in the back of the room, like probably like in a semicircle, all staring at the owner talking to us. And I looked over at my partner JD, and I was like, "Did you touch my shoulder?" And he's like, "No." And there was no one behind me. So that was like something really strange. And then up on the second or third floor where the stairways go up, I think where the one woman got decapitated by the metal from the fireworks going off that they got up there. JD got like really nauseous and lightheaded at that spot, like even before he told us what it was.
Well, that I think her name was Mimi. Mikey, I think, still on here. He's the one that just said we made a documentary about it.
Yeah.
I think we got Mimi or something through the spirit box or something. So
was it?
He had
I thought it was Minnie. I thought it was Minnie.
Was it Minnie? Maybe it is
Minnie.
Minnie. Something like that. Yeah, Mikey would know. But actually, somebody asked, "What do you think of Ouija boards?" I know that place is full of Ouija boards. There's Martha. Martha Minnie. Where's the other? This is the comment I meant to clip on. What do you think of Ouija boards?
I'm not allowed. I mean, I think they're cool. Like I've played them with my friends, and like we went to one of my friend's house in Avalon that he said he always thought like a ghost was there. So we were just hanging out, and we got a Ouija board out, and I forget what the name it spelled out. It was like a really weird name, but it spelled it out. So that's really the only thing I've had, and my current partner does not like Ouija boards at all, so we can't have them anywhere in the house because he gets freaked out.
It's really funny how you mention that, Nate, because like I don't like using them. I refuse to, but I love how they look. I think they're really cool looking, but
aesthetic's cool,
I
yeah.
don't want to. I just no. It's like I will let those guys handle it. I'll just look and watch because you got to be careful with those too, man.
All right, Mike. You see you later.
See you, brother.
I think, if you do it with respect, I think if you follow the rules, like you have to
Right.
sign off and say goodbye or whatever, like you're hopefully nothing can come through and stay to go back to wherever they came from.
I
mean,
mean,
I know-
would fuck something up.
They're always like kind of frowned upon, I guess, at least
Yeah.
paranormal wise. But I know the owners of Bell Mansion, they always use Ouija boards. They like highly think a lot of them.
Mm,
I mean, I'm not opposed to them. We have in Monroe House, we use them,
yeah.
and nothing ended up happening. And I've used them as a kid, and me and Jen have messed around with them before too. But I've personally never had anything happen.
That you
Which
know
I
of.
think part of it though is you have to like believe that it's going to do something, and I think
Right.
a part of me is like I don't really fucking believe it's going to work. You know?
It's like that. What's that term? Like you tell somebody that something's going to happen, and you kind of convince them, and then it's going to
Yeah.
happen, but it doesn't. It's the what the hell is that term? I can't remember it now. Such like a P, like the paradox or freaking the placebo effect. That's what that is. You convince somebody that this is going to actually happen, and then all of a sudden
And
they think it's
it does,
happening.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, see, I know a part of it with a Ouija board too is like if like there's the right way to do, and we've researched it before because like I don't want to mess with that shit just in case something would happen,
Yeah.
But when we've done it, like say you and Phil were doing it, like I'm supposed to ask the questions, like not somebody who's actually using the board supposed to ask the questions. Like there's different things, like your knees are supposed to be touching. I don't know, there's all sorts of weird rules. Like, you always say goodbye. You're supposed to take the planchette off the board.
Yeah.
Like I know like what you're supposed to do. It's just like me personally, I don't think they work. And then, like I said, it could just because like maybe that's the way I feel and it won't work for me, but like maybe it could work for you. Maybe I ask the questions, it would work for you guys,
Yeah.
I think it's just so commercialized too. Like it's something we all grew up with, and the Parker brothers are making a fortune off it. So
Right.
who knows?
I don't think
Yeah.
it should have the stigma that it does, though, because I know a lot of teams are against it. A lot of places are against it. I don't know. I mean, it's whatever your intent is. Like, if you're putting something bad out, you're going to get something bad back,
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Speaking of that, I just kind of started getting my foot in the door with investigations. So we ended up getting an invite to Old Economy Village, so that I could do some posts to hype up their After Dark event. It's essentially you go and tour the Old Economy Village up in Ambridge, and then at night they open everything up and they have lanterns out, and you can go into these dark buildings, and they have some tour guides, and they tell you about ghost sightings and paranormal things that have happened there. So I ordered an EVP recorder, and I got the electromagnetic field with like the colors that lights up.
Like a K2.
And then I got the cat balls because those were pretty cheap, and I heard good things about them. So I tried to record everything then through the night, and JD recorded on his cell phone. We didn't pick up any voices. It was also kind of hard because there was other people there touring and like trying to get paranormal stuff. So you have to like count out their voices. But we didn't catch anything on EVP, but we did get some interesting reactions to the cat balls. I think I sent you a clip on that.
Yeah, I'll show you the video right
That
now.
was cool. That was really cool.
We understand that the harmonists settled here. Can you tell us about your time here, please? You can talk into this recording device or touch one of our balls here that light up. Oh, it just lit up. What do you want to tell us?
Just went off again.
Wow. Did you get it?
That was crazy, man. That's really cool.
Yeah, and those like they work off of of touch. Like when a cat plays with it and bats it around, it lights up. That's the original purpose for it. As you can see, we're not touching it. The table's completely level. It's not shaking or moving at all. And only one of the balls is going off. So it's not like both of them are going. So it's like, as soon as I said the word ball, it lights up. And that was like, oh my God, like that's definitely crazy, because they said upstairs in the feast hall, I'm not sure if you've ever been there, but the acoustics are crazy, because it's like this big feast hall with like these big rounded like ceiling and windows and everything. Your voice just kind of bounces all around. So that's why it sounded so big and open up there. But the harmonists would go there and all dine together. And for whatever reason, the tour guides and the volunteers and things have seen, you know, many shadow figures up there. And they've heard the gift shop is below, and they've heard a lot of footsteps walk around there. So they said that was the hot spot. And that was really where we got the most evidence, which was interesting.
Now, do they host any private events? Like, could you rent that place out or no for paranormal?
Not that I'm aware of, because it is, I think because it's a National Historic Landmark, they have to like really watch you. So there's like someone in each room kind of watching, just to make sure no one messes anything up.
Yeah, it seems like it's always hard to get into those type of places, because we've tried to get into Woodville Plantation, which is right by where I live. And I talked to them probably for like a year, because like originally I talked to the one lady. She was like, oh yeah, that'd be cool, you know, blah, blah, blah. She was like, let me talk to the board of directors, whatever. Then she talks to them and she's like, oh, do you have any references? And I send her references, and she asked for this. And then it's like, yeah, we're not going to let you in. It's like all this runaround. And we tried getting in Oliver Miller Homestead, which is out in South Park too. They were just flat out like, no, you're not coming in. But like any of them historical places, like, I don't know, they're like impossible to get into unless maybe you have a TV show, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Hotel Conneaut?
I've been there a few times. Me and Jen and my daughter actually stayed in the honeymoon suite, and we had some activity. We did a couple little videos here, and we actually did like a little spoof video or whatever. I don't know if you ever saw it. It's kind of funny. We had like a little fake commercial and everything too. But the stuff that happened at Conneaut, one thing is we had a REM pod out, and we left it out all night, just like in the room, went to bed, and it could have been the batteries dying. So because I'm more skeptical than most people in this group. But it'd say like 5 a.m, the thing just started going crazy, and then eventually like drained and shut off. So that was kind of cool. But the other thing that is definitely paranormal, at least in my eyes, is my daughter was talking to a little girl, which the little girl's name's Angelina, which I remember that because my stepdaughter's name's Angelina. So she's talking to Angelina, and on the recorder, you could hear a little girl laughing like after my daughter talked to her. So that was
wow.
Cool.
Crazy.
Have you been to Conneaut or had any experiences there?
Yeah, what's crazy is I went to high school in Meadville, which is the next town over. Mm-hmm. So we would have like our harvest dances there, which was like our homecoming. So we would go and dance, and it would, like, the ballroom is so old. I remember having hundreds of teenagers on the ballroom, and the floor would just shake while we're dancing. So that was weird. But I never had any paranormal experiences, just because I was a young kid having fun. But we did go up and do a ghost tour, and they had the device with the electromagnetic fields that lights up. So we were sitting in one of the rooms where I guess they captured like smoke or fog or a figure coming out from underneath the bed. And it like went around the room, and me and JD were sitting on that bed with the device. And they're like, you know, if you put your phone up to it, it's going to light up, blah, blah, blah. So don't keep your phone close, or any electronic devices. It'll give false readings. So I threw my phone back on, like, way back in the bed. And we're asking it questions and doing EVPs and recordings. And I would bring, the weird thing is they were talking about the thing that came out of the bed and came over. And the only time it would light up to like red is when it was over my lap. So it was like, whatever was there was either at my feet or like trying to sit on my lap, which kind of freaked me out.
What's the craziest experience you've had so far with all the places you've been to?
I would say probably getting touched at the Grand Midway was the freakiest thing. And then we also went to Hillview Manor in Newcastle, and we went downstairs to the boiler room where the attendant or the guy is supposed to reside in there, and he was a big fan of the Steelers, so they have all the
George,
Steelers
yeah.
stuff around.
Mhm.
And we just had a stupid app on our phone, like nothing expensive, like a free app.
Yeah.
And we opened it up, and the word "steal" came up. Like we weren't even asking, like we didn't say the word "steal" or anything like that, and the word "steal" came up, which was interesting. And supposedly a woman in a wheelchair was out watching the birds there on the side, and she fell to her death down that stairway in her wheelchair, which is really sad. But down there, JD got like a cold shiver up his spine, and he's definitely like he doesn't
Empath?
believe in it too much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that was like an experience that he had, which was interesting.
Nice. Now, is he as into this type of thing as you are? All these different places you guys been to. Is he as engaging with it?
I think he just kind of comes along for fun. He
There we go.
likes the experience. He loves horror movies as well and creepy stuff, but he's not sure if he believes in ghosts. But a lot of it started with the urban exploring when we didn't have anything better to do in 2020, and just going around to different abandoned buildings and taking photos and stuff like that. I think he's more into that.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, it's just nice. There's so many locations all over, especially in like the city of Pittsburgh too, man. It's insane. Yeah, it's like, with us, we do a lot of tri-state area stuff, Ohio, West Virginia, and what have you. The amount of content that's out there, dude, it's like, holy crap, I never knew this place existed. And speaking of like what's that?
I was going to ask you about Lake Shawnee Amusement Park. Is it worth the trip down there, do you think?
Absolutely.
100%.
100%.
I'm trying to think. I mean, we've had some cool shit happen in Shawnee too.
Yeah.
I've been there twice because we were there with the old team too. Phil's been there once or whatever this past time. We were just
My only complaint was the bathroom situation. That was a pain in the ass. Yeah,
Their bathrooms are super gross.
it was bad.
It's a trailer, but it's like you'd pee in the urinal and it'd come right back out the pipe.
Yep, that's exactly what happened to me. and if you wanted to wash your hands, there's a little pumping, like a craning thing out there. You have to actually like lift it up, and you just hear the water flow and all that. You turn it off every time you're done. I'm like, this is not cool.
But I'm trying to think what we had. That was really cool in the bus. It was me, Troy, and Jen. And Troy was having a lot of There's supposed to be this little girl. Well, I mean, it actually did happen. There was this little girl that was on the swings, and this truck like backed up, and she hit the truck, and she ended up dying. Mm-hmm. So Troy was talking to the little girl on the swings like throughout the night. And when we were back on the bus, we have it on video too. I forget what she says, but first off, it said Jen. Then it said, what the hell? I'm here, I think, or something, Phil. I forget what it said.
Was I with you guys whenever you did
but you weren't there for that, but you had to see the
that
video.
one.
I'm sure you saw the video, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I can't remember though.
Because it was pretty like the third response, which she says, let's play, I think, or come play is what she says.
Wow.
And it sounds like a little kid. Like it definitely it's 100% clear. Like that was really cool. That was on the bus. And then when me and April, we went up to the Indian Burial Ground, which where the Indian Burial Ground is, they were digging for like a mud bog or something back in the day, and they unearthed like 30 something graves. They covered it back up. Supposedly they claim there's like 3,000 people buried there. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but that's what
crazy.
They say. But anyway, we had a couple things happen there. The first time that when me and Jen were there with our old group, we heard like weird, I mean, it could have been like coyotes or something. I don't know what the hell it was, but there was like weird animal noises coming from the woods. And it was right after the one lady who was with us, she was playing like Native American, or no, she was like doing like chanting or something, I think, but somebody was playing Native American music. It happened like right after we did this stuff. And that time I had a K2 meter and I was following it around because it kept lighting up red. So I followed it around. It took me to this tree, which I don't know if the tree had any significance, but it took me some tree and it was like all the way red. And then the second time when we went, when I was with April, and this was on live, our meters kept lighting up. She had a K2 and I had a regular EMF, and it went up to like, I want to say like 7 point something, which there's no electricity out there. Like it shouldn't be going up to that, you know? But that was like the main things that happened, I think, at Shawnee this time. One other thing that happened the first time is my son was with us too. We went the first time, and me, Jen, and my son actually went to go use the bathrooms. And we heard little kids singing like over by the bathroom too.
Oh, creepy.
That was pretty cool. Yeah.
Crazy.
And they have an old haunted house too that is open. Supposedly, I don't know how the hell it is because like you fall through the floors and everything else.
It was cool looking though.
But it's really cool just to explore, like go through this like beat up haunted house, you know.
It reminded me of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre a little bit too, man.
Well, that trailer, man.
Yeah.
That freaking trailer, like I actually the first time we went there, you can't even go through the trailer now. It's like blocked off. The first time I went there, you could, and like I'm a big guy. I broke one of the steps. I fell through one of the steps.
That's another one that's like, it's just a little bit too far out of my willing to drive that I'm always like, I want to go there, but I don't. I think it was like 6 or 7 hours, something like that.
Oh no, it's like 3, maybe a little over 3, something like
Is
that.
it?
Nah, yeah, it's not too bad. I didn't drive. Our buddy Troy drove me, but
it was 3.5, 4, I think.
Yeah, 3.5,
Like
4.
Yeah,
Well, that's
it
not
wasn't
too bad, I guess.
nah.
Troy actually has a question for you.
So he says, do you ever feel a negative or positive experience as GBLT, asking as I had a spirit that was pretty negative to me being in Monroe House, and Karma said it was due to me being a gay man. Your thoughts? I don't think I ever have. I think I'm just pretty much an open person, and maybe whoever that Minnie or whoever she supposedly was a hooker back in the day, but it's weird that like she touched me out of everyone because I was, there's a lot of other straight people there, and then me and my partner. So maybe she felt like comfort with me being there. Maybe she knew, but yeah. Other than that, I think like owners that I've run into have been really cool. I've never had any issues with anything like that.
Yeah, I know. Supposedly with the Mimi or Minnie or whatever her name is, she's usually violent towards men. I thought is what Blair said before. Like people have gotten sick and stuff in her. That's why. I mean, that could be something too. And like Troy said, I know. Supposedly, like, well, not supposedly in Monroe, the spirit was kind of aggressive towards him, and that's kind of what his thought was, is because he was gay. Like the spirit didn't want him there, and I know it even was getting real violent with Jen, which. What was it like talking about raping her? Or you weren't there, Phil?
Yeah,
it was saying something because Carmen was actually like telling me like, and I don't usually get aggressive, with stuff, but she was like, tell it to fucking back off. So, I was like, like stop, like leave my fucking wife alone, and like, I don't know if it affected me or anything or not, but like they were worried about me because I actually I was hungry. I went down to the kitchen to get like a hoagie or something. Yeah. So I went down and like Mikey came down and I was just like sitting in the kitchen by myself in the dark. And he's like, bro, you all right? Like, what the fuck you doing? But
that's crazy though, I mean, spirits, obviously they grew up in a different time.
Yeah.
Maybe they feel like they can take advantage of people they see, maybe deem as weaker, like women, and maybe different sexual orientation. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
And it's crazy too, because like me, I'm the most I don't want to say timid of the group when it comes to certain locations, but I'm a lot more. I am. I'm not gonna lie. I am. Like whenever there's like a place that has like a demon or something like that, I'm like, oh god. So, but then it's one of those things where like no matter what you are, orientation or religion or whatnot, it's always good to go in there with like a I know nothing's gonna hurt me kind of thing. So I can go there just with that invisible armor kind of thing and just go in prepared.
Right.
Kind of.
Well, see, I definitely, we're supposed to get back to Monroe next year, and I think we're staying for a full weekend. If you want to experience something, go to Monroe, because we had a lot of shit happen in Monroe. It was fucking nuts. It wasn't the scariest place I've been, but it was definitely probably the most active place I've been. And Mikey actually kind of got freaked out, which Mikey doesn't really get freaked out either. So
yeah,
because like, did you ever see the who was it? Nick Groff or something went there, I think, Monroe House. Did you ever see that episode? What the hell's that show called? The Paranormal Lockdown? Is that what he's on?
Yep.
Well, in the episode, like he goes down in the basement, goes down the crawl space, and he said he's like being grabbed or whatever. Somebody like pulls him. They actually found like human remains down there. They had to call in the police. Police came. There's supposedly people buried in the yard. Anyway, me and Mikey went down there, and we're doing a bunch of different shit. Like he was doing a channeling thing, and then the little crawl space. I ain't going up in that fucking crawl space. He was doing the channeling up in the crawl space. I'm sitting down in the basement area. We had a laser grid shining like towards me and towards like this back room. And I'm asking him questions. And we had like a body cam was facing me. I think there was a camera coming off of the laser grid, and then he had the baby monitor. So as we're asking these different questions, first off, the baby monitor freezes, which he actually had it as his profile pic for a while because like it's like real creepy, just like him frozen on the baby monitor. And so that happened. Then he said something felt like it grabbed him in the crotch. Like he fucking freaked out. He was like, something just tried to fucking grab me. So he jumps out of the hole. And as that happens, the laser grid shuts off. And then where the baby monitor was plugged in starts making like this crackling sound. Like it was real freaky. Like all this shit happened back to back to back. So that happens. He goes upstairs, which first off, he leaves me down there by myself. I'm like, what the fuck? Like all this shit just happened. Leave me down there by myself. But he goes upstairs, and you know, we tell other people what happened or whatever. So Jen and Troy, I think, came down, and we have holy water. So we start like doing a blessing or whatever. And the hell did it say? Oh, I remember what it was. Earlier in the night, we ordered food, and like we have a little behind the scenes video. We're like jagging around and stuff and making jokes, and Mikey like laughs and stuff, and he makes this like weird laugh. Across the thing, when we're doing the holy water, it sounds like somebody's mocking his laugh. It sounded like his same fucking laugh from earlier. Yeah. So like it was fucking nuts.
That's crazy.
But I highly suggest going to Monroe if you want to experience something.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to check that out.
Oh man, I didn't get to go though because I had a family thing I had to go to. So
He didn't want to go to the demons, is what it is. So
blah blah blah.
that's why you're staying at Bel Air by yourself when we go, Phil.
I think I'm gonna get sacrificed there, Nate. So it was nice knowing you. I'm actually excited for Bel Air. I am. I don't know why. I mean, you know, it's just like it's like watching a controversial film. You know, everyone's all talking about it. You're like, you know what? Now you have to watch this and see what it's all about. You know, so you know, Bel Air is like an hour and a half from where I live. I mean, of course, it's not far from you either, Nate, since you live in the same location I do. But now I'm like, you know, I watched an episode of I don't know if you guys ever heard of Overnight. It used to be called TFIL, which was short for the Fuck It List. It was these 4 friends. Yeah, I know, right? These 4 friends who go to certain locations and, you know, check the place out, try to catch evidence. And they went to the Bel Air house and they met Kristen and everything too. And I have to finish the episode, but there was a lot of crazy shit that happened there. And of course, if they can do it, then I should be able to do it. So it's gonna be fun though. I want to be able to toughen the backbone up a little bit, you know.
Do you have any like bucket list place you want to go?
I was gonna
I think Eastern State Penitentiary. It's over in Philly. Have you guys gone there? It's another one of those ones. Just it's too bit of a far drive for me unless I'm making a trip out there.
I've been there for their haunted house, and I actually went to a masquerade there once too.
I'm sure, like, I wish, like, West Penn in Pittsburgh would open up and allow
100%.
at least tours or something, because that building is so fucking creepy. Like, when you go down on the bike trail, like the prison trail, and just looking through, like, the gate, I would love to be able to see in there. But Philly's even bigger than Pittsburgh, especially back in the day. I could only imagine what type of spirits are trapped in there.
How big is Philly? I've never been there before. Never have.
It's like, I think at least 3 times the size of Pittsburgh. It's big.
Jesus Christ.
Population wise.
See, I don't think it's as big as Mansfield is, Phil. But yeah, it's pretty big. We've been to Mansfield. That place is fucking enormous.
Massive, fucking big.
You can have up to 100 people on a private for Mansfield. So that tells you how big that place is.
Oh.
I don't even think I have 100 friends that I could take.
Right. Oh man, it's like whenever we were at Trans Allegheny Lunatic Asylum.
Have you been there, by the way, Nate?
Yes, I've done a couple tours. I did the historic tour, and then I did the criminally insane tour, and then we did like a flashlight tour at night, and then we went to the haunted house that they do.
Fun.
So but I haven't done like an overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a documentary with the old team there, and then we were just there like a month ago for Hearst Mania,
Mhm.
and we did the haunted house, zombie paintball.
That
Me and
was
Phil
fun.
did all three of the night tours, and
Oh, it was a
Did you guys
badass
see anything
thing.
with like the flashlight tours?
there was a couple people that thought they saw something. I personally didn't see anything, and a lot of people get like paranoid just because they're on that type of thing.
Right.
I personally don't think anything happened when we were on them, but we had some stuff happen for sure on other times. Like, during the documentary, most of my interaction has been with Lily. Which, do you remember who Lily is? Nate? She's the little girl that was supposedly born there. They usually talk about her on the tour.
I think they talked about her. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, the first interaction I ever had with her is me and my daughter went there years ago. There was other people with us too, but my daughter's about to be 19 actually on the 25th. So she was probably 7 years old or something. She was little. And one of the things they used to do in Lily's room is they put a big ball out in the middle of the room, and they were like, Lily, if anybody is here that you'd like to play with, can you roll the ball to them? Well, my daughter was the only little kid in the group, and the ball went right to her. So that was kind of cool. And then during the documentary, there was a couple of things that happened at Trans-Allegheny. One thing was in Lily's room. We had some flashlight stuff, like we were asking questions and getting answers on the flashlight. We also had a REM pod in the room. And you could see in the video as we're talking that you see like an orb go into the REM pod. So that was kind of cool. What else do we have? Oh, the bedpost murder room?
That's a crazy story. Yeah, that was so sad.
Yeah, which there's a bunch of crazy shit about that. One thing is, when we were just there for Hearst Mania, the lady who was across from us, she was painting people's faces or whatever, or painting pictures or something. Whatever the fuck she was doing, Phil. She was painting pictures.
Something like that. Yeah.
Anyway, she came over and was talking to me, and she knew like we were paranormal investigators or whatever. And she was talking about the bedpost murder room. And she said the guy that killed the other guy they have another, the new asylum's up on top of the hill, which if you ever did the farm tour, you could see where the new asylum is. She used to take care of him when he was still alive, the guy that killed the guy. Now the guy's not alive, but that was crazy that like she knew the guy, but she said he was like a sweetheart and everything was like, he was really nice. And it's just, I don't know, it's crazy. But anyway, when we were in the bedpost murder room, first off, like I was taking pictures because that whole room just felt off and I felt like something was watching me. Didn't really catch anything on the camera. But what we did have happen is we had a REM pod in the middle of the room. And there was two things that was really cool that happened. One thing was we were asking questions like, do you want us to play some music? We'll start naming some people. If you want us to play whatever, you'd like to learn pod up. So like, I think Jen started off with like Johnny Cash, Elvis, like older people. And I was like, well, the guy died in the 80s. I was like, do you want us to play Madonna? And it lit up on Madonna. So like, that was kind of weird. But then another thing that was cool that happened is, I don't know if you remember the story about the guy, but like he was special needs and he used to crawl on the ground and stuff like that. In the video, which I didn't even notice this until Mikey was reviewing it, you see like this mist like crawl over our REM pod. So that was kind of cool too. Yeah.
Yeah, that was I think that's the first like kind of haunted tour that we did. So it really affected me, like, because that's the first I'd heard about like all the lobotomies that were done there. And of course, all these places have similar stories that at that time they did lobotomies and electroshock therapy and water shock therapy. And it's just really sad what people had to go through. And it seems like they all had overcrowding issues because that's like, they just stuck everyone there. And it was crazy. Like they talk about the reasons that you could be committed for back in the day. It was like, if a woman was on her period for too long, or if you were melancholy, like, which is depression nowadays, like they would just shove you in there. Like your husband could sign you off and you'd be stuck there, which is super sad. So I'm sure, those lingering spirits are, if not angry, a little frustrated about what they went through in their life. So those type of places are going to attract a lot of paranormal activity, I think.
Well, they said that, because we just did that tour, last month, and they were saying that I think there was a 14-year-old kid that they did one on. He survived or whatever. And they had like a movie or something about the guy or whatever too, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's
You
good that
remember
they
that, Phil?
open these places
Was
and
that?
you can
I
learn.
said, do you remember that?
Oh yeah. Oh, and I actually forgot. I think Troy mentioned we also have the Indiana State Sanatorium coming up too, so that's
Yeah,
gonna be sick.
yeah.
And and you should definitely check out Crescent Sanatorium if you haven't already, Nate.
Yeah, you've been to Crescent, right, Nate?
Yeah, we did like
Oh,
the
yeah.
photography thing.
Yeah, I thought so.
But
I think
again,
it's
I
cool.
didn't have like any paranormal equipment there, so I want to go back and
Right.
try that type of thing. Have you guys got any good results there?
Yeah.
I'm mixed with Crescent. I love Crescent. Like, it's cool to explore and everything.
Yeah.
You ever want to do a daytime thing with us? I'm sure me and Jen would come out. We always go out there all the time, so just let
Yeah.
us know. But I don't know. Like, the only thing we've ever had really happen there, and it wasn't even
Actually, I think with Troy, Jen, and myself, the one.
it was in Richard Callenger's cell.
Yeah,
Or
that
Richard-
was.
Joseph Callenger, I think his name is. Whatever the serial killer's name was, I think it was Joseph.
Yeah, that
Um,
was crazy.
They had some like stuff going on with the laser grid and some reactions and stuff in there. And then actually me and my friend Mancini were walking around and we heard footsteps upstairs, which at the time I didn't think you could go upstairs because there's like a staircase and it just goes to nowhere. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about in that place, but since then I've been there again and me and Jen found a way to get upstairs. So it could have been somebody walking around. I'm not 100% sure because there was other people like with us, you know.
At least
But
it's so
It's like
goddamn
disorienting when you go there the first time when you're trying to
So
learn all the
massive.
different buildings. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the
But-
one night we were there, whenever the whole blizzard that happened, like we ended up, calling it quits like hours.
I think I
before we
saw that
actually
video. You guys
planned.
were like freezing.
Dude,
It
it
was
was
terrible.
ridiculous. It was a fun night, but it was just like, if this is what it's like to be in John Carpenter's The Thing, forget it. You know. And but yeah, the place is beautiful, man. It really is. I mean, it's just big. You need like 2 days to do everything, but it wears you out, man. It really does.
hmm
Like there's definitely
Yeah.
never been anything that's like freaked me out there.
Right.
Like I'm not saying it's not haunted, but I haven't really seen anything myself yet.
I think
Yeah,
maybe Destination Fear is going there because they did like a teaser photo, and it looks
Yeah,
like
yeah, I did see that.
building. So I'm interested to see that episode because it's one of the newer locations like that not a lot of shows have done. So
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll pick up some good stuff.
Well, I think personally too, I think the more that you like mess around with that shit, the more you stir shit up. So if you start bringing in people and start doing that type of stuff, I think you're going to get more activity too, you know?
I think that's what happened with what's the one in Pittsburgh that was like the Demon of Brownsville Road? Have you heard that story?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like-
I read the book actually. Yeah.
It's like a bed and breakfast now, and they pretty much told people to stop like messing with stuff there because they
Mhm.
and they want to be done with it, which is interesting.
Well, the funny thing is, well, first off, Ashley, Phil, you know Ashley from Scarehouse.
Yeah,
Fatima or
Ashley
Yeah.
Matteo or no,
whatever. No, Fatima or whatever.
Thank you, Fatima.
Yeah, she actually messaged me about that because I guess she talked to them. She was going to rent the place, but she told them she wanted to do paranormal shit, and they blocked her. They didn't
Wow.
want her to come out there and do that. Yeah,
You're
Damn.
serious.
yeah. But then another story I know about that place. My one buddy, Phil, you know Brian. You met Brian before.
Oh yeah,
Long hair.
long hairs, Brian
Yeah,
kind of thing. Yeah.
Brian used to live right by them, knew the people that owned that place, and like went to school with the kids and everything. And I'm not saying it isn't true, but he said that whole family was kind of a little bit off, and he thinks it was just a money thing to begin with. Like it was just for this guy to get famous. The guy's a politician too that used to own the place. I don't know. I don't trust too many. It was Bob Cranmer or whatever is the guy that he was the owner.
So maybe they're kind of piggybacking off of like Amityville whenever that blew up in the 80s. Or
I think so.
70s.
And supposedly there was a, because I don't know if you know the story about it, but like I said, I've read the book. Part of it has to do with like this guy was doing abortions, like supposedly in the house.
Oh,
Now
wow.
that is true, but it wasn't supposedly that house. According to my buddy Brian, it was a different house. It wasn't even that house, but that did happen in that neighborhood. So, like I said, I don't know. Like I trust my friend kind of more than I trust that guy. You know.
Yeah, I would like to stay there sometime, but then again, like I figure if I post anything about it being like haunted in the past, they might get mad or something. So I didn't want to push it.
Yeah, you definitely have to probably wait till after and film it or something. You know.
Oh, that's crazy. Like, are you a fan of any like the entertainment type of haunted houses? Obviously you got Scare House and all that stuff too, like 100 Acre Manor, all those.
Yeah, I like Haunted Acres Manor. I knew a guy that I used to work with at a previous company, and he actually left his full-time job to go work, like design 100 Acre Manors, and then they have another location in Florida.
Oh,
So he like
Ethan.
left
Really?
the
you know
job to go-
Ethan then, right?
Tyler.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about Ethan because I know
Yeah.
Ethan. He moved and he did a bunch of stuff
Yeah.
for them too.
That's
Okay.
cool.
Yeah, so that one's cool. That it's always like I like that one because it's so long. Like it takes
Yes.
you maybe 45 minutes to an hour to get through it, and I appreciate that. Just the work that goes into it, even if it's not the scariest. I appreciate
Mhm.
that. Scare House I haven't been to since they moved. One that we like to do was Cheeseman's Fright Farm when I
Oh,
went to
good.
Westminster. Like it was near Slippery Rock.
Mhm.
It's the same every year, but it's kind of cool because you're out on the trailer, and then out of nowhere, like Jason comes up on a trailer and shines his lights at you and beeps you, and then he jumps into the wagon. And it was funny because it was one of my first dates with my boyfriend JD, and we were like sitting next to each other with other people around, and one of the actors jumps into the hayride and he like tries to scare us. He's like, "What, are you guys on a date or something?" I'm like, "Yeah, we are actually." And he's like, "Oh, okay."
That's awesome, man.
That's like you remember the tractor thing that happens on it? That's like my favorite part
yeah.
Yes.
with like the fire and all that. Like that's super.
Yeah.
Cool,
And then the one at Trans Allegheny I was really impressed with, because I'm not sure the building that they put it in, what it was before, but
It
you
was
actually have to, like, go
tuberculosis.
upstairs.
It
yeah,
used to be their TB building. Yeah.
to like go all through that, and I was impressed with what they did with that.
Yeah, it was beautiful, man. I was in shock that they even had like little kids actually acting in it too, and I was like, "This is cool, man." Could have started them out early, you know. I mean, they were on point too. They were if as good as the adult actors, and the place was huge.
Hmm.
Like Christ on a cross, and how you mentioned with 100 Acre Manor, like me and Sean and Jen and our buddies Jay and his girlfriend were there recently. Man, it was packed that night, but they were on point. That was
Yeah, we
probably
ended
the
up
best
getting
part of
VIP or whatever to skip the line.
yeah, dude, it was insane. Like we actually had a park. Whenever you're actually entering the actual like beginning of the park, we had to go down that big hill. Well, they were actually having people park up the top of the hill. It was that packed, but
Mm.
like that was probably my favorite time I've ever been there. Everything was just flawless, and even some of the actors that you wouldn't expect to be in certain rooms were running it like it was. They were meant to be there. It was awesome.
Have you ever been to Factory of Terror? It's in Ohio.
No, I've been to the big one down by like Uniontown, when you actually like there's like two different buildings, and then you have to like walk through the cornfields and stuff in the woods. That's another cool
Yeah.
one, but I've never been to the one you
Haunted Hills Estates or something, right?
mentioned. Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, Factory of Terror, I definitely recommend it. It actually had the Guinness Book of World Records for the longest haunted house at one point.
Wow.
Oh, the indoor one, yeah, that's
Mhm.
one. How many haunted houses are actually in that one? Like
I think 5 or 6, but that
5 or
building's
6.
that building's like over 100,000 square feet too, and supposedly they have enough space to build a second haunted house. That's how big the space is.
Holy shit!
They actually put 3 bars in now too. They have a bar crawl. Like that place is really cool, especially if you've never been there.
That's the best when you can get a little tipsy before you go in. So you're
Hell
You're
yeah!
in
And they have them spaced out good too, because like they have one before you go in, then there's one in the middle, and then at the end they have one and there's axe thrown in that one too. So like, you get real wasted and do some axe throwing. At the end.
God. Hey,
I never knew how safe that was, but I've done it myself as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. I love that place. I think I was only there twice, man. I don't even think we were able to. I think last time we were there was like maybe 2 years ago or something like
Well,
that.
the
dude.
time I went with you, I think it was St. Patrick's Day. So I know it was an off-season event that
Yeah.
we went. But yeah,
Yeah.
me and my brother and daughter were just there a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah, did you have fun?
Mhm.
Nice,
No, Troy's back on. What's up, Troy?
Troy. Oh man,
We're
isn't
actually
it sad?
leaving for Disneyland. We're going on a Disney cruise on Thursday. Well, Thursday we're going to San Diego, and actually got us tickets for the Whaley House.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to go do like a haunted tour of the Whaley House, and then we get on the cruise, and then we're actually going to Disneyland Halloween nights. So that'll be cool. Like the parade starts off with the Headless Horseman, and then all the
That's awesome.
characters come
Nice.
out, and then we're going to go to Universal Studios and see the original Psycho House. So I'm definitely going to get a selfie with that. And I think they have the original Jaws prop and stuff like that too. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, lucky man.
So yeah, that's like I definitely
Uh,
that's on my bucket list. Is well, I want to go to the one in Florida, but the Universal Halloween Horror Nights would be awesome.
Yeah.
to do.
You know, I tell you what though, it's like, you know, you get so into this type of thing, it becomes an addiction, you know. It's just fun. I mean, how
Yeah, it
like,
kind of consumes all your weekend, at least if you want to make content.
dude, how you telling? God. Yeah, like obviously, you know, with us going to Sleepy Hollow this like, you know, Friday, I've been wanting to go there for years, and you know, it's like, oh, it's gonna wait now. It's gonna wait 3 more freaking days.
Well, Nate, have you ever been to Salem?
Yes, we went last October, and we went a couple weeks before Halloween. I think we might have went like the first week of October, and it wasn't super crowded. Like you could still get around. And we took the ferry from Boston. We actually did the haunted Boston tour, which was really cool. You get on a trolley in downtown Boston, and you go through, and they tell you about the sites. We went up into the old burial yard and saw like the old headstones and stuff, and then they take you by different houses. I think one was where one of the victims of the Boston Strangler got killed. Like they showed where her apartment was, which was kind of interesting. And I really enjoyed it because they dress in like time period garb, and they have accents. They kind of talk in Old English. And apparently Boston was also the birthplace of Edgar Allan Poe. So they have a Poe statue there, like Poe's Corner. But Salem was cool. It was a little touristy for my liking, but I mean, that's what you're going to get when it's like Halloween City, USA.
Yeah.
And it was hard to get into some of the museums, but I did like the Wax Figure Museum and the Witch Museum, where they talk about like the history of witches and stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've been to Salem twice. Once as a kid, and then once like it's probably like early 20s, like something like that. I always try to get Jen. Like you would think Jen would want to go, but like,
Yeah.
she claims she does, but she never. Like, I'm like, we need to go to Salem. She's like, oh, we'll go next year or something. Like, I love Salem. I'd love to go again.
Yeah.
And have you been to New Orleans? Look, we love New Orleans.
No, we haven't gone there yet. That's a bucket list as well.
I definitely recommend.
I was going to say the Lizzie Borden house was only about an hour from Boston, but it was like in the opposite direction, so we couldn't get there for the weekend. But I would love to go there as well.
Yeah, that'd be cool too.
Since you live around here, like you live close to me, have you ever checked out Blue Mist Road in North Park?
Yes,
Or
that's one of my
Now-
favorite hiking spots, actually.
I was going to ask you that too, because Sean, our friend Eric, and myself went there, and there was nothing going on unless we totally just.
Well, I
missed-
don't think we found where the hell we were supposed to be. 'Cause
Yeah,
there's supposed to be like remains of a house or something, right?
yeah.
If you go on, it's Irwin Road, but it becomes, there's like 2 entrances. There's one by North Park, then there's one up in Wexford, and this road has houses on it, and then it just becomes like a dirt road. Like there's gates on both ends.
Does the road like split like Y or something?
It does at one spot. It kind of goes over a creek.
Okay, because I think we went in. I think the road was
Oh.
split where we went in at, but
Yeah.
we went down into the woods, hiked for a little bit. We couldn't find anything, which I know Mikey's been to the actual location before, but like we didn't know where the hell we were going. So I don't think we found what we were supposed to find.
They have it on Google Maps. It's an actual location now. They might have added it recently, but it's actually Blue Mist Trail, and it's
Okay.
on Irwin Road. So if you Google or if you navigate to Blue Mist Road, it's going to take you, or Blue Mist Trail, it's going to take you to the cooler end. I think it's still kind of paved, and you go past this gate, and then people, like when I went, people had spray painted like Blue Mist Road on it, so that was cool to see. And then if you go up that road, it's going to turn into dirt, and then there's going to be a little trail off to your left. It goes across the creek. It is eroding, so be careful. But up there is where the remains of one of the foundations is, and there's still like old ovens in the foundation, like an old Coke machine, like actually like drinking Coke. And people say that's the witch's house, but the weird thing is I've watched a video on YouTube. I think someone had looked into it with local officials, and like this house doesn't come up on the records anywhere.
That's
But
weird.
people think it might have been like, I don't know, like a house for whoever was working at North Park, like a park ranger, whoever, kind of like a place to stay. But there's that foundation, and then there's like big trees, like there's big spooky trees. They said back in the 80s, like during the satanic panic, They thought people were like lynched and hung from the big trees, and apparently there was like a small person like community back there, like they called them midgets back in the day.
Yeah, we have that same rumor. Like we live in Heidelberg, and supposedly in Bridgeville there was a community like that too, which I've never seen it.
The only thing weird I kind of noticed, I usually always went during the day, but I tried the whole park and honk your horn at night and stuff. I didn't get anything, but like a couple times I went there, I don't know if it was gunshots or what, but like you're in North Park, so I feel like people shouldn't be able to shoot around you, but it was just like this constant, like almost drumming sound.
That's
Which was
crazy.
weird.
North Park at night's kind of, I don't want to say creepy, but it's very like, if you just like listen, you hear a lot of weird shit. You know,
I've been to Gravity Hill in North Park before. We've
Yeah.
done that before.
Okay.
It actually worked or whatever, like where you put the car in neutral and it gets pushed up the hill or whatever. I think it's all an optical illusion, but that was kind of
Mhm.
cool.
And then
Have you done
the
any-
Fountain of
any of
Youth
the-
is right
what-
there, which is kind of cool to see. It's just kind of
What's
like
that?
an old spring house, the Fountain of Youth.
Okay.
Have you guys gone there?
Mm-mm.
No, I
I don't
haven't.
think I have.
It's actually on Google Maps as well, but it was just an old spring house that people would get drinking water out of, like in North Park and back in the day. But you kind of have to like go over this ledge, like there's a parking pull off, you can park there. Then you have to go over this ledge, and it's across a little bit of a creek. And the remains of the spring house are there, but they took out the actual spring, I think in the 70s or 80s, because they deemed like it wasn't healthy for public consumption. So they took that out. So you can't really do anything there, but it's just kind of like a dark crevice, which is kind of cool to take pictures at.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Have you done any of the other outdoor? Like, have you done like Dead Man's Hollow or Darmine or any of those?
Yes, I actually got Darman location off of Jen. She told me where to park.
Nice.
On that
We were
pull-off.
just there on Saturday.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Like the leftovers of that building, like all the art inside of there, and you can just kind of walk through. And then Dead Man's Hollow is definitely cool because they still have that remnants of that plant there as well that people graffiti. You guys did an investigation there, right? Did you get anything?
Dead Man,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, we did a public there. Me and Phil actually went there with a group from New York, husband and wife, a couple years ago.
Mhm.
And that was probably the coolest thing I think that happened at Dead Man's Hollow.
Oh yeah.
But we were down in one of the tunnels and we had an ovulus, and we had the ovulus like wedged in between this rock, and we're asking questions and this and that. And first off, the woman, when she was asking questions, it was saying like a lot of mean shit to her, like swearing at her and calling her all sorts of stuff. But as this was going on, you see, and she has it on video, you see the ovulus like looks like it gets picked up and turned and then it falls. And it was wedged inside this rock. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was.
Trying to think what else happened at Dead Man's. We had a channeling thing. I did a channeling up in the remains up there too.
Mhm.
And got a couple cool things up there from that.
You guys saw
Up on the Witch's Rock too, or whatever. We had like orbs, and they said, remember Luke and Mikey, we have walkie talkies, and Luke and Mikey were up on the Witch's Rock, and we were down. I think that's when we were at the bridge, and they said that they like heard my name or something, like me talking, and I wasn't like across the walkie talkie while I wasn't talking. So,
Yep, I remember that.
mhm.
That was nuts, man. That place is pretty big too. I think whenever we did our public investigation there, we had like 16 or some people, or 18 or what have
We
you.
had 23 total, including us. Yeah.
Damn, yeah, that was nuts, man. Yeah, that place is amazing. to
It was
go
Luke's birthday too, or whatever. We had
That's
cupcakes
right,
for
that's
Luke's
right.
birthday.
Yeah, although I did.
Doing any more public, like opening it up to the public or anything like that? Any more investigation?
I'd love to, man. We always talk about that, and
Yeah.
it's just one thing is with there being so many of us, like there's 7 of us in our group. It's like you either got to take like a real big location if all 7 of us are going to do it,
Right.
or we're going to have to do like a different block, like where maybe 3 of us take 3 hours, the other 4 take, because it's just like 7 spots takes up a lot of spots. Like if say we went to Bel Air, like that place only holds 10 people, so we'd only be able to bring 3 people, you know.
Right. Exactly.
But we've definitely talked about it, and I definitely want to do it. And people ask us all the time, like, you know, oh, I want to come out with you guys or whatever, this and that. Like even when we went to Darmine the other day, we went out with our buddy Sage from Steel City Ghost Chasers, and then my one buddy Aaron I said something. I'm like, yeah, we're going to go out tonight. It was short notice, but it's like, I try to get people to come out, and then like, I don't know, it just like falls through all the time,
Yeah. Yeah, we had to leave Darmine a little earlier than expected because of my wasn't feeling too good. But it's
we had some crazy shit happen at Darmine the other day. Though.
We did, like, for a short time that we were there, like 2 hours maybe. Like there was some stuff. Like I'm still trying to figure out what the hell those damn little lights were in the woods or whatever. That just
we had a thing with I mean, I think it was like an electric bike or something.
Yeah,
but we all saw it. Me, my daughter, and Phil and Sage. We all saw like this light go by and like a whirring sound go by. But it was like, I don't know, 11 at night. Like it's weird that somebody be out there like riding a bike by themselves in the middle of the night or something. You know? So that was kind of strange. And then the other thing that happened the other night, which I thought was really cool, is Sage had dowsing rods. Which I'm not a big fan of dowsing rods, especially because you can manipulate them. Like I've used them, they don't do shit for me. But it could be the same thing with the Ouija board. Like I don't believe in them. Maybe it doesn't work for me because I don't believe in it, But anyway, so he's using them. He's getting responses. Like if it crosses, it means yes. If they uncross, it means no. So he was asking if there was a skinwalker. You know what a skinwalker is?
Yeah.
Like a Native American elemental kind of thing.
Right.
He was asking like if there's a skinwalker there. It crossed yes. And then I had a flux, which is a little triangle thing with the red and green lights on it. The flux lit up green, which green means yes, red means no. And then we heard noises in the woods, like shuffling around us. So that was kind of creepy. Like my daughter, actually, who doesn't really get freaked out, she was like, I'm scared. Like she's walked around Hillview by herself before, like when she was like 14 and she was fine and she was kind of scared. So it was kind of creepy.
Yeah, I think cryptids would definitely freak me out more than anything paranormal, because that's like flesh and bone. Like you said, the Skinwalker, there's Skinwalker Ranch. I would like to eventually see that potentially. And then like, I've never seen a Bigfoot, but I've always been interested in like people that hunt for them. And like when you're out hiking in the woods by yourself, if you ever get that feeling like you're being watched, I feel like there could possibly be something out there. Mothman, Flatwoods Monster. That's another thing. Have you guys gone to the Flatwoods Museum down in West Virginia?
Yeah. I know we've been by it, like the exit or whatever, but yeah, we've never actually stopped.
Yeah, they have the Flatwoods Museum, and then they also recently opened a Bigfoot museum that's in the same town, so you can like go there and see both of those. But the Flatwoods is interesting because they made like that game Fallout. I think it was Fallout 76 that they did in West Virginia. And like one of the characters is a Flatwood Monster and one's Mothman. And they have like all the different examples of the Flatwood that's been used in like Japanese video games. And they have like the lanterns that you can buy that look like the aliens. So that's something cool to check out in West Virginia as well if you're down that way.
That's cool.
Oh, yeah,
well,
man.
Talking about that, Lake Shawnee, their paddle boat sign, and part of it was it Fallout? It's a video game. It's part of a video game too. He was saying, the owner was saying it's in a video game. Which
Yeah,
really
Fallout.
cool.
It was
awesome.
Fallout. Yep. Yeah,
I tried playing it, but it was like, I'm not big into like shooting games, and I think I just got frustrated and stopped playing it.
Yeah, that's the thing too with those two. Like they're too lengthy for me. There's too much going on. I just can't do it. I used to love playing games, man, but I get gamer rage if I'm by myself. I'm like, son of a mother. So I'm like, I can't do it. I gotta step away from this. If I don't know when it's gonna actually end, I don't want to play it.
Right.
I was trying to message Jen on here. I don't know if she's home yet or not. I was trying to get her to come on and say hi to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see her.
Yeah, man.
She puts out a ton of content. I don't know how she does it. She has like 10 different things a day.
God. I don't even know how to like use like TikTok. Like I had a TikTok account and I made one video. I was like, all right, this is not hard to do. Then I completely forgot how to do it after that. So I just gave up on it. I'm like, have fun. I can't. Oh man, wearing a bobblehead is much enough, but
yeah, 'cause you guys have
you
guys have your Bump in the Night Society one, and then I think Jen has one, and she also has like her own Instagram page. I'm like, wow.
I think that's her.
Right.
I think that's her right there. They just said something.
Love you, Jen. I'm insane. That's why I love it too.
Hi, Jen.
Oh, it's awesome being a part of her videos. It's great. It really is.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out. I could send her the link to bring her on, but I don't know if she wants to go on camera or not.
Oh man, I think one of the funnier ones that Jen made is having Sean. I think Sean, you were as one of the characters on what not to do whenever you walk into a haunted house. He just came in like, "Hello, bitches." I almost lost my shit when I was watching that.
Yeah, I think was there one that like it was like choose your paranormal investigator, and you're
I
like,
want to make a
doing
second one of those. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that.
Zach
video.
Bagans character. Of course, Zach's always like a douchebag.
See, I like him now. He's a douche, but I mean, I love watching Ghost Adventures. I mean, it is a good show.
I mean, it's always like it was everybody's like first ghost show. So like, I mean,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
understand the hate and everything, but everybody used to watch it, and I still
Yeah.
I got love for Zach. I love the show. I know Jen has the hate for him, but I always
think
watch
I'm
it. The
tainted
thing is too,
because,
she watches it too. Don't let her like front. Like she'll watch it with me. So
I think I'm tainted
mine, yeah.
because we went to Moundsville, and then that's
Yeah.
where they did like one of the first shows, MTV Fear. Do you remember that?
I do.
Back
remember
in
that
the
show,
day.
yeah.
Yes.
And they said like, well, MTV Fear like went in the Sugar Shack and did all these creepy paintings that they weren't supposed to. But Ghost Adventures also went there, and they said Zach like came out there screaming like a little girl, like causing all this drama. So I was like, he definitely like amps up the drama for the show.
Oh, you have to.
That's
'cause-
Troy right there saying poor Zach.
Poor guy. You ever see what is it? Portals to Hell with
Yes.
Jack Osborne. I love that show.
We like
It's
that one.
good.
Katrina's really good. That's his partner.
Yes. Oh yeah.
I like the
They're-
psychics that they bring into.
She used to be on
yeah.
Paranormal State too, which I always thought that was a good show too.
She's actually on Paranormal Lockdown with Zach Groff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zach Groff, you mean Nick Groff?
Or Nick Groff. I fuck up people's names all the time.
Yeah, that's Jen there.
Zach sucks. That's too funny. Yeah, that show is awesome. I think it's probably one of my new favorite paranormal shows now. You know, it's just weird because like I see Jack. He's obviously Ozzy Osbourne's son. You know, he was annoying as hell whenever he was young because he was Ozzy Osbourne's son mooching off his dad. But now I'm like, I didn't realize he was this cool and into this type of thing. And he's also I think he's a sheriff now in the hometown he lives in.
Oh wow.
Yeah, right. I was like, damn boy.
And then he brought Kelly. Like, do you guys have Discovery Plus? Like the thing they
Yeah, I
have
do.
all those shows on there. And there's a special where he brought Kelly onto, I think, the Queen Mary, like that boat that's supposed to be haunted.
Oh.
And they do like a whole like 2 hour like they show. She gets like really freaked out, but they're both
That's
good.
funny. Oh, that's awesome. Who mentioned Ghost Brothers? I think it was
That's Jen.
Oh yeah, Ghost Brothers. Those guys are awesome. We met them at the Ohio State Reformatory,
Okay.
Oh, cool.
and they were nicest dudes ever too. They were hilarious,
Yeah,
absolutely
they're really
hilarious. And
I saw their episode. I think the only one I saw was when they were with Destination Fear when they went to, was it Crescent or was it Trans Allegheny? I can't remember, but they were like
I think it
together
was
or something.
Yeah.
Trans?
They've done stuff with Ghost Hunters before too.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, those guys are funny too. And Dave Schrader, he's another good one too. Although I never saw his show before.
Holzer
And,
Files is his original show, but
yeah.
somebody said it was Crescent.
Oh, it's Crescent. Okay.
I think that was Jen.
Oh wow, nice. Yeah, Dave's hilarious. I gave him a big ass bear hug, or he gave me one. He's giving free hugs to all the people that were fans of his. You can just see him like lift me up and everything. My legs flailing.
I've never watched Mountain Men. Have you guys watched that?
Yeah, that's the
nope.
one that has to do with like the cryptids and that. Jen makes fun of me because I watch that shit because it's a bunch of like hillbillies or whatever. But
I can see you watching that, Sean.
I like all the paranormal shows.
You were mounting him, Phil. You damn right I was. Everybody needs a little bald man in their life. You know? He's bald too.
Do you guys believe in Bigfoot? Do you think he's out there?
Yeah, I think it's possible for sure. Like I said, we don't really do a lot of cryptid stuff, but like I'd be cool with doing it. One of our, well, I don't know if we're still friends with him or not, like because he deleted a bunch of us, but this one dude we used to all be friends with, he used to always talk about going to look for Bigfoot and like, you know, camping out and everything. And I don't know, we talked about like getting a little team together to do it, but it never happened.
Yeah. I'm skeptical. Like, I don't know. I just, one of these days.
Well, I mean, one of the theories it's the what the hell's it called? The giant Pithecus, whatever. Like it's supposed to be some giant ape or something, which
Okay.
that's actually like fact, like that's actually happened in time. So what's to say there's not one still out there? Just like how Loch Ness Monster is supposed to be what, like a Plesiosaurus or something, I think. I mean, what's to say that's not possible, you know?
True.
I think what's
my friend,
interesting is like every little community has its own ghost stories and cryptids too. Like I grew up in DuBois, Pennsylvania, which is kind of more central Pennsylvania. And our dad would always tell us about like the legend of Hatchet Hands. Like it was, I guess, this guy that wasn't loved by his family. Like he like got hurt in an accident and he wanted to be very affectionate with like his lover, but like he replaced his hands with axes and he killed everyone that he went to hug. So of course that's a tall tale, but
yeah, it sounds like an urban legend or something.
Yeah, like my dad taking us in the woods and he put like a hatchet up with like ketchup like on one of the trees and would try to scare us without like legend tripping me and my brother to do that type of stuff. And I think there was specifically one that was called like the Hodag at this Boy Scout camp up in Mount Run that he went to as a kid that was supposed to like go after Boy Scouts and all that. So it's interesting those legends that you can get into.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like a lot of like urban legends or whatever. It's like how you were talking about the Midgetville or whatever. Like it seems like that's always somewhere. The Lady in White's always somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's the Crybaby Bridge. That's another one. It's all across the country. Like, I mean, there probably is some truth to it, but all these places ain't the same thing, you know?
Right. My cat's getting rambunctious. She's running around.
Well, you always have an animal show up on somebody's like cat or dog will jump up in the middle of it. But I don't know. You have anything you want to promote?
No. If anyone's still paying attention after almost 2 hours, you want to follow me on Instagram, it's at Nate_odd, and then TikTok is just Nate Odd. And I kind of cross post on both those platforms. So whatever you use most, give me a follow. And if you're into paranormal and stuff like that, I'll give you a follow back for sure. And send me any locations that you want investigated or you think would be cool for me to check out. And I'll definitely be interested in that.
Anything coming up?
Nope. I think we're going on the cruise, and that's what is on my mindset right now. So probably
just film some stuff out there for sure.
Yeah, definitely the Whaley House for sure. Someone commented that it's cool, so that'll probably be my next post that I'll put up.
Heck yeah, man.
Well, thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was nice to finally meet you guys. Well, I met you down at Moundsville, but it's cool to chat for a longer period of time.
For sure.
Heck
like
yeah,
I said,
man.
you ever want to
That's
go out to
awesome.
Crescent or something, or you want to come on a ghost hunt with us or something, just, you know, hit one of us up.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
All right,
Thank you
Have
so
a good
much,
night.
man. It was awesome, brother.
All right, have a good night.
Thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can find us here, and here, and here. Don't forget, everybody needs a little bump in the night.